So now moving on to our final presentation in comparative approaches from Niven Rennie from the Hope Collective that works with violence reduction units. And Niven is going to talk about the success of the VRU in Glasgow.
Can I have my slides? Are they there? Thank you. I take it I just press this green button. Hey, that works. Right. I normally speak for 45 minutes on this subject, and I was told I could have 15. It's now 12, so you're getting the executive summary, and I apologise for that. Who I am, if you do Twitter, you'll find out a lot about me. I was 31 years a police officer, 2 years in a homeless charity, 5 years as director of Scottish Violence Reduction Unit. I gave that up in Christmas, and I'm now the executive chair of the Hope Collective. I'm going to try and talk to you a wee bit about that towards the end, but it involves all the violence reduction units in the UK and a number of other partners. This is what you see all the time, Danny. You newspaper people do all this. I kept this one is in at Christmas because I always fly this up because about Christmas time, the Mirror always runs and the Sun run a story about what prisoners are getting for their dinner, and it's ridiculous. Back in the distant time, 2003, Scotland was a murder capital, the most violent country in the developed world. Glasgow was a murder capital of Europe, 137 homicides in 2000. And what did we do? We formed a violence reduction unit. Nelson Mandela is saying under there, violence is preventable, not inevitable. Violence is a disease. And so the World Health Organization said, let's make it a public health problem. We were the first people in the world to pick it up as a public health problem. And what does that mean? Someone said it earlier on. It's all our responsibility. It certainly doesn't live. We brought in 2006 a study of adverse childhood experience to Scotland. It's been running with it all over the country now. There's 10 of them, 10 adverse childhood. I haven't got time to go through them all. But essentially, if you get 4 or more, all these bad things happen to you. But actually, people get hung up with a number. What it really means is, if you have a bad start in life, it's more likely your outcomes are going to be poor. And let's look at a normal person. 35% of us will not have any adverse childhood experience. People that go into the criminal justice system, we don't talk about suicide very often, but young men are actually very violent against themselves. But I come down here, and what they tell me is, it's county lines and it's intercity racial violence. But what we don't look at is the actual root causes. And the root causes of most of our society's problems, particularly violence, this is what we know. 1% of the Scottish population experience 65% of violent crime. That's an amazing statistic. It'll be the same here. 1% suffer 65%. And do you know where they live? They live in the poorer areas. And they've got the worst health outcomes and the worst educational outcomes. And no matter what you look at, poor people have the worst outcomes. This is hospital input. Mental health ailments. Every time we work with young people, they tell us mental health is really, really bad and we can't get services. Mental health ailments are increasing. And we look at it all as if they're unrelated. Let's have a violence reduction unit. Let's have a drugs task force. Let's have a mental health task force. It's the same people. It's that 1%. What do? We lock them up and hope they're going to go away. And in Scotland, while our violence figures have come down, our prison figures are going up. We've got more people in prison now than we've ever had. And here's a stat for you. This comes from America, but it was backed up by a study in Glasgow last year. 64% of our prison population have got 6 or more ACEs. The worst to start in life. Duncan Bew's a trauma surgeon in London. He lost five people working 23 hours a night in the night to save them. And he put this up in the morning afterwards. Early intervention can save a community. Early intervention can save a life. Prevention saves a community. It's all about relationships, forming good, positive relationships across the board. Children are our most valuable resource. We should cherish them. The Hope Collective is a marvellous organisation. We're giving positive messages about young people. We're letting them set their agenda. Just now we're working on a Reimagine manifesto which will allow young people to set a clear pathway for a better future in this. But we are failing the young people and we need to do better. Act now. Too late if you leave it till tomorrow. That was a whirlwind tour. Thank you very much.